It is possible to set and create parameters if they don't exist. We actually added a command for this. So if I come in and do set create for a parameter, its expectation is the active model, but you can specify a specific model. Also the parameter name and value, of course. The one caveat here is that it does kind of need the type that is expected for what you're modifying. So for example, if we come into this lower portion of the speaker assembly here, and we take a look at this particular value, you can see that that height, so I'll type that in, is currently 8, but let's make it like 30. And we know that that's a double. So the other thought here is to be able to specify where that is at. So if we say magnet.prt and run that, obviously we need to regenerate the model, and there it is. So let's add that regeneration in. Okay, so we'll do a model regenerate. Now that will regenerate that subcomponent within this top level assembly because that's kind of how Creo works. So if we change this back to like a 12, you'll notice that that's working just fine. So it is possible to use wildcards with this also. The one caveat with this command that you have to be really careful about is if we come in and we say, well, I'm just going to go modify anything that has a height in it to, let's say, 30 and a double, let's say go. This could, it did do that, which is, as you can see, this particular model here and this particular model here, and this one here also have height associated with them. But the problem is this, and that is that when you take a look at the parameters, it also created that. Yeah, well, let's go take a look at other parts because that's what we were modifying. So if we come to this voice coil, we'll notice that height has been added to this component. Now it may not have had that before. Same thing for a dust cap. So this command with wildcards can be a little bit dangerous. It is really important to use this in the proper context, and I'll give you an example. So let's say that we wanted to update all of our models and add a new parameter called a test a, and we'll just go ahead and assume that this is a string, and we'll call this wow cool as the value we want to set. So when I do this, just that quickly, it's gone in and updated everything to include that new parameter that we've added, which is a really fantastic capability. And you would do this typically for like trying to mass update things from CAD models that come from another system, or just add parameters to models for company standards or something like that. But you've got to be real careful about this because if you just go in and just assume that you can go modify things generically, especially relative to numeric data, if you do have parameters that are being modified that are tied to relations and dimensions, it could cause a bit of a headache. So this command is really, really useful for like string parameters and modifications of existing string parameters or creating stuff in mass. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend this for generic automation of dimensions.